Yes.
And you're not a Trump fan, are you?
No. Donald needs to die. Donald needs to die.
Huh?
I said, well, then Donald needs to go. The majority of the work that I do is policy because that's what my degree is in.
Policy.
So it's focused in policy. And so I do that's why I go to a lot of embassies and a lot of events at the White House.
You at the White House?
I go to the White House.
So do you have to keep your mouth kind of shut because you're working for a Republican? You can't say?
Well, I really keep it to myself.
So you're like besties with Nancy Pelosi?
I love Nancy. My picture of Nancy Pelosi and I is on my desk.
I don't know if your constituents would want to know that though, huh? Would they be pissed off? They don't care.
If they do, they kiss the crack of my ass. There's a lot of things that I do here, and there's a lot of things that I see with my own eyes. Madison Carter in one line neither. That man in a wheelchair, that video that came out with the guy in the Senate office building in the hearing room.
Oh yes, I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah.
The guy was blackmailed.
He was blackmailed?
Pretty much.
Whoa.
So most members, they actually have spouses because they're married. They have affairs with other council people, with Congress people, Congress members in office. And they have like parties and stuff.
Like you're talking about sex parties?
Yeah, they
Whoa.
want to talk a lot.
So these parties are like, it gets hot and heavy.
Yeah, it's like an in-house thing. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But 9 out of 10 times, everybody in there knows. But they actually, that is a fact. They actually do have these parties.
Does that happen a lot? Like people do something sexual and they blackmail? Have you seen that?
So it happens every now and then.
But they get blackmailed.
Exactly. That's
Holy shit.
because it's like they have a leverage of, like if you have something like that, it's called leverage. And so what they do, they use against you to get something else. Majority of the members that come late are always 9 out of 10 times come over from the night before.
From the sex party.
So on the voting, you already have a piece of paper that tells you how to vote. Known as a suggestion. It's not a suggestion.
It's not a suggestion.
It's what we need you to vote.
Because we know we have information about you.
Right. They have a group chat that they tell people how to vote.
They tell people how to vote.
Yeah.
And they get information about them and use it as blackmail.
In a way, yes.
Well, I mean, I've never been to a party like this. I've been invited to them. My instant reaction to that is, especially the blackmail piece that it seemed like this individual was talking about in this piece. That's something that I experienced firsthand.
But doesn't it make you feel like guilty sometimes?
I get my check and I'm good.
You get that money.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's what it's all
I like
about.
to buy nice things.
You like to buy nice things? So you get that money, you like to buy, what type of nice things do you like to buy?
I love a Louis. So the one thing I want is a jumper. I want the jumper. I like a lot of things. That's it.
That's what you look on your home, What's your favorite bag of all bags?
It's like a
Congressional records show that Titus Warren worked for Congressman Westerman's office in 2023 with the Committee of Natural Resources. He told me he was just offered a program with CHIPS, a program offered through an executive order at the White House.
What did you say that CHIPS was again? What does that mean?
So CHIPS is inside the Commerce Building. So CHIPS is a program offered through the White House Executive Office. It's an internship program. It's where you, it's pretty much the CHIPS Act. This is what it came from. It was to provide broadband and resources for rural communities.
Although Titus is just an entry and very low-level person on Capitol Hill, he's been to the White House, spent time with the leaders of both political parties, witnessed and heard a lot of congressional staff doing and saying things. What he has heard and seen, we believe people need to hear. We also believe it will encourage other interns, bartenders, contractors, and members of political parties, anybody who is on the inside, come forward with more information.
The majority of the work that I do is policy because that's what my degree is in.
Policy?
So, is focused in policy. And so I do a lot of, that's why I go to a lot of embassies and a lot of events at the White House.
That sounds. You were at the White House?
I go to the White
Do you
House.
meet the president?
Have I met him? No. I have met thank you, sir. I have met pretty top officials, you know.
So you work with like the Republic. I forgot his name. Westmoreland.
Yeah.
And he's like a Republican, but you're not.
No. So I'm just in LA.
What's that?
Legal, LA.
But in your job, you've like heard things. You've seen people say things to you.
There's a lot of things that I do here, and there's a lot of things that I see with my own eyes.
Even though Titus works for a Republican, he says he is a secret Democrat and has to keep it on the down low. He says he loves Pelosi, does not like Trump, and talks about what he thinks about his constituents.
But I work in a Republican office, so I can speak on the Republican.
You what?
behalf. I work in a Republican office.
You do?
I do. I'm not Republican, by the way, but I do work in a Republican office. I told you I met Nancy Pelosi. I love
You met? Yes, that's right. You did say that. And you're not a Trump fan, are you?
No.
So do you have to keep your mouth kind of shut because you're working for a Republican? You can't say?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I really keep it to myself.
Does your boss know how you feel?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Because my photo of Nancy Pelosi is on my desk. So I'm sure he does. Well, I'm sure he does because my picture of Nancy Pelosi and I is on my desk. Here's me and Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, wow. What a beautiful color.
Every time I see her or we run into each other, you know, sometimes I'll go in her office and I'll just go in her candy bowl in her office.
So she knows you pretty well.
Yes.
She likes you.
Love Nancy. Love Nancy.
So you're like besties with Nancy Pelosi?
Love Nancy.
And you're working for a Republican. I don't know if your constituents would want to know that though, huh?
What?
Would they be
They
pissed
don't
off?
care.
Or they don't care.
If they do, they kiss the crack of my ass.
They could kiss your ass.
Because I don't care. Because
You don't
that's
care?
my opinion. When I actually went to go, you know, home and whatnot, and I posted the photo of Nancy and I, my dear friend, they own a trucking company back home. She said, "Oh, so you was friends with Nancy?" I said, "And I was, and I love Nancy too."
And what did he say?
And she said, Nancy's gotta go. That's when
And what'd you say?
And I said, well, then Donald needs to die.
Huh?
I said, well, then Donald needs to go.
What did your boss think?
Well, he's for Trump, obviously.
Oh, that must be frustrating. I love how you said to your constituents, you're like, you can kiss my ass.
You can. They can kiss the crack of my ass.
They can kiss your ass.
A Senate staffer was busted in December in a viral video having hardcore gay sex in a Senate hearing room. The staffer was 24-year-old Aiden Maïz-Sarofsky and was promptly fired by Maryland Senator Ben Cardin. According to Titus, this is the norm, and there was blackmail involved.
Well, it was right before they all went on Christmas break. The video that came out with the guy in the Senate office building in the hearing room.
I forgot which one.
Came out in the Senate hearing room.
Okay. Oh yes, I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That actually did not happen the day it came out. That happened way back when. That happened in the summer.
Really?
What happened was, I don't know if you ever watched Red, White, and Royal Blue. Oh, you have to. This journalist got mad at this guy because they wouldn't talk anymore. And so he linked it to another journalist so they can publish it. And then the guy was blackmailed technically by it because he didn't know they were publishing it.
He was blackmailed?
Pretty much.
Whoa.
That's why in his post he said, I'm taking all the legal options that I can. Because he actually has a ton. But to figure out who actually did it, it's going to be kind of challenging for him on his path. But hey, yeah.
Does that happen a lot? Like people do something sexual and they blackmail? Have you seen that?
So it happens every now and then.
Sex parties and blackmail were first spoken about by former United States Representative Madison Cawthorn back in March 2022. The congressional staffer we spoke to states these are very real, and he said it happens more than people think.
Before George Santos left, okay, I've got to give, he did not lie about this at all. Okay, so most members they actually have spouses, so they're married or they're They have affairs with other council people, Congress people, Congress members in office. And they have like parties and stuff. Do I go? I don't know. Never go. I never get invited to them because I don't care to go. But they actually, that is a fact. They actually do have these parties.
Really?
And it is only certain members. Not all members are into it, but certain members are, and it's always the ones that are like,
Yeah.
clowns. I call them clowns.
The clams,
The clowns.
they talk.
Talk all the time.
Like you talk about sex parties.
Yeah, they
Whoa.
want to talk a lot.
So these parties are like, it gets hot and heavy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
On a call, Titus dove into more detail on the sex parties. He told us if he were to name the person, it would put them in grave jeopardy, and he would take that information to the grave.
I'm sorry. I'll tell you what I heard, but I won't tell you who I heard it from because I'm not putting the person in jeopardy. But what I did hear is a lot of people, get brought, like couples to come in, and the couples will start making out with other couples, and men and women, and it's a whole big ordeal. Alcohol is a part of this, but furthermore, if it's cocaine related, no. I've not heard of a drug substance besides alcohol that is at this party. Now, that's what I do know. I've not heard of cocaine. And personally, a person's not going to tell you that there is cocaine because their boss will lose their job. They do tell you what you do here. That it's couples and couples, women and women, and men and men. But who told me that? I will not say. Will not say. That will go to the grave with me. I am new. Absolutely not. Done. No.
Go to the grave.
Yeah, I'm going to die with that secret.
But me, I don't ever go.
You invited?
Have I been invited? No.
Do you want to go?
I don't want to go.
It sounds
Not
a
with
little.
them. Oh.
Whoa.
But it happens a lot more than, more people think.
But no one ever.
Titus Cawthorn one line neither. That man in a wheelchair, baby bye.
Which guy is that?
He was the congressman that was in the wheelchair.
I think I remember. Yeah.
And he's the one that first mentioned it back in like 2021 before he got out of his seat. He wasn't lying. I thought it was a joke at home. I wasn't even working here.
Now nobody reports on that. The media doesn't talk about that. They called him a liar.
Because the reason why, a lot of media and a lot of people in general don't know about it.
Really?
No. It's like an in-house thing. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But 9 out of 10 times, everybody in there knows.
And what do they do with these parties?
That I don't know. But I know it ain't like birthday cake and cookies.
We reached out to Madison Cawthorn and got his reaction.
Well, I mean, I've never been to a party like this. I've been invited to them. My instant reaction to that is, especially the blackmail piece that it seemed like this individual was talking about in this piece. That's something that I experienced firsthand. As soon as it's kind of a latent threat, it's kind of just an understood thing in Washington. It's not something that's ever really said to you, but it's well known that people can always have leverage points on you.
I would assume that the New York Times and CNN know about it, but they don't publish it.
Well, as they know, they would run the story. Or they're not allowed to run the story.
Titus says these parties also serve a deeper purpose as a way for the ultra-powerful, the parties, and lawmakers to have leverage on members of Congress and other branches of government.
But they get blackmailed.
Exactly. That's
Holy
because it's like they have a leverage of, like, if you have something like that, it's called leverage. And so what they do, they use against you to get something else.
Holy. Whoa.
Oh yeah, it's like that's just behind the scenes. So,
but you don't get invited.
No, I'm glad I don't.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't.
Titus tells us that votes are not suggestions, that members are pressured through the use of leverage gained by the sex parties in how they should vote.
A lot of the time, people show up late or don't show up at all to vote. majority of the members that come late are always 9 out of 10 times come over from the night before.
From the sex party. It's like they get them on something and then they make them vote a certain way.
So, on the voting, okay, so they already, so when you go in, depending on what party, you already have a piece of paper that tells you how to vote, known as a suggestion.
Right.
It's not a suggestion, technically, it's how you're supposed to vote. So they're not actually thinking
It's not a suggestion
it's what we need you to vote.
because we know we have information about you.
Right.
Really?
So it's never like
But who comes up with these suggestions?
the parties. Whatever committee they're on. So for example, if they're on a, let's say small business committee,
Yeah.
there's a Republican side and Democrat side. They both have their different papers.
So these suggestive votes are not suggestions at all.
No. And they get papers and they have a group chat that they tell people how to vote.
They tell people how to vote.
Yeah.
And they get information about them and use it as blackmail.
In a way, yes. If you ever run for office and you have been in where I am, you would use that as leverage to win your campaign.
Who's behind this? Like just the party leader?
In general.
Cawthorn also confirmed this leverage done on members of Congress while voting.
People always want to put you in compromising situations so that they can have leverage over you so they can control your vote.
Asked if Titus feels guilty about all of this, Titus says it's all about the money and getting his Louis Vuitton handbags.
But you're not really a Republican.
No.
But you work for one.
Work for one, love it.
Yeah, you're doing it. You're like a rebel on the inside.
I get my check and I'm good.
You get that money.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's all
I like to
about.
buy nice things.
You like to buy nice things. So you get that money. You like to buy. What type of nice things do you like to buy?
So, this one thing that I sell, all my money that I'm saving now is for me to go to the Hamptons of the week, every weekend of the summer. So I like to go to Chanel.
Louis? Chanel?
I love those. But I love a Louis. So the one thing I want is a duffel. I want the duffel.
But doesn't it make you feel like guilty sometimes to work for the Republican, or is that no big deal? Like helping the Republican Party.
I don't.
But do you feel guilty, like you're helping the Republicans? You're like, dude, I just want that money so I can get the Louis Vuitton.
I don't.
You don't feel guilty?
No.
I went shopping with Titus at Burberry and David Yurman in Washington, D.C.'s Center Square. We looked at certain rings.
My new friend is looking for a little ring, and we're wondering the prices on these right here.
Yeah.
He loves blue. Is his birthstone?
The blue. Yeah.
And he's a hard-working member of Congress.
Okay.
So he deserves a little gift today.
I like a lot of things. I do.
You like a lot
I gotta.
Well, what about like this one? This one would look good on your arm, you know? Or what do you think?
Titus told us again that the D.C. blackmail sex parties are not a conspiracy.
Oh, I was doing some reading about that online. As everyone says that that's just like a conspiracy theory, but it's real. It happens. Wow.
It's not a conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy.
It most definitely happens.
That's crazy.
Most definitely. And it's normal to some people, but not I.
Not you.
Not I. It's not it's,
They just get that information and they use it against people.
yeah. So, in the morning, every morning, 2 a.m., the CIA does a brief.
The CIA.
Does a brief. And that brief entitles whatever the president's going to get briefed on that day. So that's where the policy comes in.
You'd get you involved in the CIA brief?
No. We just get the brief.
Oh.
We just get the briefs that they give.
Is that like classified?
Yeah, but we get a lot of it like marked
Redacted?
out. A lot of it marked out.
What was shocking to us is that Titus did not recognize me. I even asked him in my encounter if he's ever heard of someone named James O'Keefe.
By the way, you ever heard of that? You ever heard of that guy? I'm not related to him, but you ever heard of this guy, Jim O'Keefe or James O'Keefe? You ever heard of that?
Yeah, the blogger. Love the blogger.
Some blogger. I don't know what he does exactly, but everyone that woman just said I look like him. I don't. People say that I look like him, but I don't know. But I'll see you on Wednesday, okay?
Yes, yes.
All right. This is just part 1 of our series. If you're an insider in Washington, D.C., please reach out to us on our Signal or join us on our weekly Spaces show, On the Inside with James O'Keefe, between 4 and 6 o'clock Eastern. If you want to sign up to be an undercover journalist, join the American Swiper program here. And stay tuned.